Hello, I'm so excited to share with you today one of the objects that perhaps is the most important here in the synagogue because of what it represents. I'm going to be sharing with you what simply is a step ladder, but this is a very special step ladder. This step ladder is dated from the year 5539, according to the Jewish ways of counting. An easy way to change a Hebrew year into a secular year is if you replace the first 5 with a 1, and then you always add 240, you'll get the year that it represents. And so if you remove the 5, it's 1, and then if you add 240 to 539, you'll end up with the year 1779, so 1779. And so this step stool dates from that year. It says Fez Kodesh, Joseph, perhaps Dalmida. And so that this was consecrated, he made holy, Joseph made holy this object in that year, meaning in that year he donated this step stool to the synagogue. And so why is the step stool so important? Because of course this would have been used for young people in the community who would perhaps be participating in the service, but still too short to really be at the teba. They would use the step ladder in order to be able to lead the prayers. And this would have been particularly the case with the young boys leading the Haftarah. The custom within the Spanish and Portuguese community is that a boy, even before the bar mitzvah, is permitted to recite the Haftarah. In fact, the chairman of our synagogue, Jonathan Solomons, read his first Haftarah when he was only 5 years old. And that's why this is something which is so important, because its usage means that we have young people in the synagogue. And we've been blessed within our community this past year to have the first children born into the synagogue in a very long time. One of our young couples recently told me that they're expecting, please God, B'Shah Tova, in a few months as well. And so I'm just so excited that as we rebuild Bevis Marks Synagogue, we'll really feel that rebuilding happening when we have the young people once again using this step stool in order to lead the prayers for us again. Perhaps switching from the very young to the not so young, this coming Friday we're going to be celebrating with Mr. Henry Glantz, who is now turning 96 years old, and he's going to be celebrating his third bar mitzvah. He celebrated his second when he was 83, because 70 in Jewish counting is almost a full life, and so 13 years later, and then another 13 years later, now at 96, he's celebrating again. He would have been reading his Haftarah here in the synagogue, but being that we're not meeting, he's going to be reading the Haftarah for us over Zoom. He's already recorded it, and it's going to be a chance for all of us to gather with him on Friday afternoon to congratulate him and to celebrate together as a community. And that's really so much of what synagogue is about. We lead, we recite the prayers, we worship to God, but we also gather together and do it together as a community, something that we're missing so much, but finding the best way we possibly can, at least through technology, to find ways to still gather together. And so I wish you all continued health and speak to you soon.